Um, I'm going to try as much as I can to get to the point. Whatever comes out in the cards, I don't know if much is gonna come out. I never really know. And yeah, I'm gonna try to be focused as much as possible. This is an RF reading, Royal Family. Um, I'm gonna touch on the questions that I've received. I've received some questions, so I'm gonna touch on those. Let's see. If you can't hear me, do let me know. Okay, so the first question is about William. Is there any truth to the rumors of William having a long-standing affair with Rose Hanbury? No, I've already answered this question before. I haven't seen an affair I haven't seen an affair, basically. Um, has he slept with Rose? Absolutely, definitely. I mean, even Kate has slept with Rose. So it's not really it's not an affair. Okay, so the person asked, is it true that William is the father of Rose's oldest child? If true, how does Catherine? No, he doesn't have children outside of the marriage. He's very Catholic oriented like that, in that sense. Not in every sense, but in that sense anyway. Um, as for the Rose Hanbury thing, I've done a detailed reading on that before. I'm not particularly sure if that video is still up or if it was taken down or I took it down, but basically what I did see in the cards was that he didn't cheat. He doesn't cheat. He doesn't. He really doesn't. But you can't cheat on someone who wants you to go out and have an affair. You can't. That's the agreement. When uh them as a couple, they love exploring, especially Kate, as a matter of fact. She loves she loves sex and she loves sexual adventures. So she's even the one who would push him to that. Not saying that he wouldn't want to, of course, but she pushes him into that. She even watches them. So it's not defined as an affair if the person already knows about it and in fact is the one doing it. And I'm not saying that she does it in order to please him so that he wouldn't leave her. No. I think it's about time that people recognize that women also have agency when it comes to having multiple sexual partners. They're not forced into it, not all of them anyway. So that's what I've seen for Kate. She wasn't forced into allowing him to have numerous like concubines or whatever. No, if anything, she encourages it and she watches it. So no, he didn't cheat on her with Rose. They both were in agreement. Yeah. I hope you can hear me. If you can't hear me, just let me know. Hello, Julian. Yes, Sophie, they have an open, I mean, would I call it open marriage? Yeah, open marriage. Marital commitment. In fact, what I do see, I mean, not to venture too much out of the topic, but Kate, would not be happy with William if he decided not to engage in these things, because for her, she's very sexually active. Like, that's the kind of woman she is. Yeah. Okay, so I answered that question. So the second question the person asked, you mentioned during the Q&A at the end of your live session that Harry will return to England. How will he fund his lifestyle? He's got money. Yeah, he's got money. That's how he'll fund he's got money. Okay, the person asked, how will he live off of his inheritances from his mother and the Queen Mother? Will his father, King Charles, fund him? Yeah, I mean, that is his father isn't gonna fund him, not anymore like before. I mean, I know that I said that, the royals were still sort of funding each other, but not anymore. But what's gonna happen is he's gonna get deals. He's never not going to be Harry, Prince of England. Never. So imagine that kind of a prince being destitute. Like, it's never gonna happen. People won't allow him to become this destitute and lonely figure. They just won't. Okay, so next question. You also mentioned that the divorce between Harry and Meghan, oh goodness, the divorce between Harry and Meghan will not go well. Can you please share details on what you see happening during the divorce? Okay. Sorry about that, guys. What I see happening during the divorce, let me see. Uh Okay, so this card here, like this card shows it's a runaway train. Already it is a runaway train, like runaway in the sense that even though this train looks like it's functioning, it also kind of looks like it's at a standstill. Yeah, so kind of like that. A runaway train. They are both not going to have the monopoly of what happened, of what is going on, in the sense that the media is going to make mincemeat of them. That much I can assure you. Like the media, I mean, again, the train is like carrying news, right? You carry news, you carry a transportation method. It is what a train is. Um, secrets will, I mean, I've said this before, secrets are going to be revealed, but what is a secret? What are secrets? Secrets are something that you didn't know, right? Or you barely knew, but the stuff that is going to be revealed is not anything new, it's not anything shocking. That is how the divorce is going to be characterized. Yeah, I think I'm having a brain freeze. That's how the divorce is going to be characterized. um they're never gonna say anything that is shocking to their part. Like, it just won't be shocked. People knew that already anyway. Now, as for Meghan Markle, which I mentioned before, it is not really the request of the divorce, it's the timing of it. And I kept getting that from the cards a long time ago, and I just kept wondering, why is the timing going to be relevant? I mean, if the divorce, why is it relevant? But apparently, it's going to be at a time when, from what I'm gathering here, it's going to be at a time when, like, she's got someone else. Yeah, she's got someone else. Like, when it comes to car, like, I can feel the pull. It's pulling me here, like in this direction. And it just so happens, like, she's in communication with this person here. It's like a blonde guy, a blonde guy. Yeah, yeah. Wow. And she's gonna be happier. She's gonna at least seem happier with this person. Yeah, yeah. She's already in communication with the person. It might be one of Harry's friends, actually. Which means, actually, the reason why this is coming out, I'm getting, because whenever I do readings, I ask a lot of questions in my head, like, why am I getting this energy? So with regards to Harry, the question you asked, who is gonna fund his lifestyle, these people are a circle. You have to not underestimate the extent to which they will stick together under what some people would, I guess the general public would seem uncertain circumstances, in order to maintain their wealth and their prestige. Because obviously it takes years to build. Why would they break it apart in just a second? Meaning, therefore, even the divorce is not going to get them to be enemies. Like, they're just going to be friends, number one. And I think, like, one thing that will shock a lot of people is how well they would get along, to the extent where it's like some people be asking, is she not dating his friend? I mean, are they not getting married? It's getting pretty, like, Okay. They're getting married. Like these people, her and this guy, they're getting married. So it's like, but look at these. The cowries are pretty close knit. She is these cowries here. Like this is Harry here. This one here. These are the girls he's gonna be going in and out with, like out of clubs, right? So the reason I was talking about being a close knit is because like the cowries are they're very close knit. So even right now, they're not living together like that, like in the same bed anyway. Like they bring kind of like I guess concubines or whatever, is the word into the house, into the home. And something else that's coming up, the children are getting neglected. Yeah, I will say that. Um, but yeah, this is what it's an arrangement. It's an arrangement. Like this card here, it's an arrangement. It's an arrangement. Um, the only surprising thing, and I'm saying that surprising because these cards came out like face down, meaning we don't know, we don't see it yet, but it's the emotions. So this is him. I don't know if you can see. This is Harry here, an arrangement. He is playing chess, or he thinks he's playing chess in allowing her to still be in his space, meaning that this close knit community, including her with her new husband, because that's what they are. I do see them in the future, like they're already married. Like, yeah, I don't know how else to put it. They are. He's going to let her live in his house, Prince Harry. She is going to work for him, basically, kind of like a secretary. I do your mails, you do this for me, you allow me to live here, kind of thing. Like it's kind of very awkward for me to describe because I'm talking to to you guys here, but that is the arrangement. And in fact, what the cards are insisting is that this is nothing new. This is how even people who are non-royals live their lives. It's just that it just so happens that the royals do it in private and they don't mind doing it and they don't care about doing it. Otherwise, this is the situation in a lot of marriages, in the hearts of people. Like people's minds are detached from the relationships, but then they judge and they condemn others. So I guess these cards, I'm getting the energy from this is condemnation, including the Sussex Squad. They might condemn, but they're going to learn to no longer condemn this kind of arrangement, which coincidentally they had been condemning as we're speaking right now, right? They're condemning with Catherine, Kate, and William that you guys are separate. You guys are separate. You no longer live in the same house, and we have Harry and Meghan. They're still together. Blah blah. Well, they're gonna find out that it's pretty much the same arrangement, and they're gonna shift and realize that this is a close knit. Like this is a village. They're all in on it, in on this arrangement, and actually it doesn't matter because this is a sexual uh, preference. Yeah, this is the sexual preference. Like she's married. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. Like sometimes when I pick up on readings, like some things are more certain than others, some things are far less certain than others, right? Sometimes when I'll pick something up that is so certain, I'll be speaking as if that thing has happened already, even though before our eyes it hasn't happened yet. So she's married. She's married to this. The guy's a gentleman. Yeah, he's of the aristocracy as well, but not well known, if I can put it that way. Like I might be wrong when this comes out because I'm also getting this sense in which she might break up and then go with someone else and then bounce back again as a last resort. But she is in love with his prestige and his status. Like she she feels as though he's much more capable than Harry and that he's more ballsy, yeah, than Harry. So this is her and this guy. Like these cowries belong to my mother, and she sort of like taught me, like she taught me a little bit how to read cowries before. And she would always say, whenever like you see cowries like these, like okay, cowries together, like one next to the other, is pretty close. It's so close. Talk less of one cowrie on top of the other. I beg your pardon, on top of the other. So like this cowrie right here is literally on top of this one. So sex, like they're mating. So she is, I guess, in love with, yeah. So this would be her, and this cowrie is facing the money. So she's in love with his prestige, with this guy's prestige. Yeah. So the divorce is not really it. It's more like what the timing. Her timing is not going to be good. It's like, I guess perhaps when everything is settled with Kate, Catherine, and William, in that the public now sees them for, I guess, relatively what they are and have been. In comes Megan to restart the whole process again. So it's like, it's people know that she knows what the media is going to do to crucify her. So it's like, Megan, why would you do this? Why would you drop this at this time when the odds are on your side? Like, why? And especially when they later find out that this agreement had been there already for a while. It's like, why would you go and mess it up instead of just remaining in that relationship and just allowing things, sleeping dogs to lie. But I guess it's because she really is in love with this guy's prestige, and she feels as though, I want to be seen with him now. We make a good couple, quite a cute couple. I want to be seen with him. Yeah. Again, I might be wrong because, like, she's also in love with this a dark haired guy. I would say her feelings of love is actually more towards this dark haired guy, but the feeling of love for prestige. I hope I'm not stuttering. Like, the love for prestige is towards the blonde guy. So it's like, but I can see the love for prestige kind of overpowers her love for the actual person, for the other guy, for the black haired guy. So yeah, that's what I see anyway. So the marriage isn't going to last long. Like, I don't know, as people would think that they've made it 5 years or so. Again, like, I've done a reading on this before. They've been divorced for quite a while. It was just about announcing it. Oh, let me try to rush through these questions, and then I'll address the questions that you guys might be asking on the live right now. Um, but yeah, I mean, in terms of it not going well, as the children will obviously, the children are already suffering. So okay, next question: will Harry lose a lot of his money to Meghan? No, no, absolutely not. He's never lost money to people. He always regains it. And again, like, close knit, a village. They share with it, like they share. Next question. You mentioned that Harry and Meghan's children will be neglected. Will Harry and Meghan share 50-50 custody? Yeah, yeah, 50-50. But Meghan won't want that. She'll want like 60-40, 60 to her. But that's just for, like, I guess, bonus uh empathy points, compassion points from the public, rather than anything else, rather than care for the children. Um What will Megan's life be like after the divorce from Harry? How will she make a living off on her lifestyle? Again, the village, yeah, the village. They're gonna give each other deals. I mean, they do that all the time, and they own hotels. They own hotels. They own is it landmines, like, um, where you get jewelry. They own mineral mines and stuff like that, so they make money. Passive income, yeah, passive income, that's the word. Even for Harry, especially for Harry, passive income. And that's actually why she won't be able to get most of his money, because the money is like passive income. It's not something that he had before she came into the after she came into the picture. It's things that were already there. It's dormant. It's in portfolios and stuff. um Okay, will Harry ever remarry? Chelsea Davy, from what I've seen, I absolutely could be wrong in these readings of the future, especially with Harry and Meghan, because they're quite volatile on they change their minds a lot. But I will say this, from what I'm seeing, like, she's already gone her way, Meghan. He not so much, but he definitely will. She will launch the divorce proceedings publicly or announce the divorce, and he is not going to take it lightly. He's gonna want revenge, and his form of revenge is going after other people, like sleeping with other people's wives, stumbling out of, like, I might be wrong, but I'm getting this sense in which they won't want that to happen. Like, they won't want that. They'll want to contain it, but they're not going to be able to, partly because, again, attention, right? So this card here, like, witchcraft, witchcraft, like a cauldron, stirring things, like an alchemist, bringing different ingredients, potions together to create something. They create. So One thing about not just the royals, but I guess like individuals, depending on their personalities, right? Um, they can crave attention. So it's attention, and it's gonna again, the spiritual opening up means it's not just people's actions that are going to be visible, it's also their like their intentions are going to be so loud, which is actually why, and I'm going to get to it, why a lot of people don't believe the announcement from Catherine, because the intentions are so loud. But people refuse to accept the spiritual realm is awake. They refuse to accept that the spiritual realm has opened. So they're kind of dancing around the topic of the cancer announcement being true or not. It's not true. For those who might be here to, it's not true. She doesn't have it, not from what I've seen anyway. So, and I told you guys this before. I mean, in the reading that I did, what was it, yesterday or the other day, that not just she, but William as well, they're going to do a lot of things to get the attention and the submission of the public back on themselves, right? Um, let me even talk about that actually, because they're going to do a lot of things to get in that reading that I did, again in that live reading a couple of days ago, I talked about the fact that we haven't seen anything yet. And like, again, I'm repeating, we have not seen anything yet. Do you guys remember when this was back in 2018? For those who were not blinded by the accolades and everything, that Meghan Markle was doing at that time, who could see through her, right? And her antics, her behavior, and the attention seeking. You remember that she got chastised for doing a lot of little, seemingly little things, but those things were magnified as time went on. The more the criticism went on, the more she doubled down. This is exactly what the Cambridges have started to do. And I mentioned that already, that they have taken on the mantle that Meghan Markle left behind. And they are doing it now, like they're doing it today. They are barging in on Charles and Camilla's appointments, surprise visits. This is all, even though their fans may deny, but they didn't, surprise visits were the hallmark of Harry and Meghan, not Catherine, who knows the protocol, not William, who knows the protocol, and should technically have allowed Charles to have his own event, and then the very next day. So surprise visits, things like those. Well, guess what? Now that they've been found out, you're photoshopping pictures and you're allowing us to believe one kind of reality. And this is exactly the criticism that we're being leveled at Harry and Meghan, that you guys are giving us a different reality. You're telling us that Meghan went into labor, but then you're announcing to us that she's already given birth, and it's not even been a few hours, and then you're telling us that she gave birth a few days ago. It doesn't add up. Why did you lie to us, right? And not only that, but like, the public didn't like it. It's one thing to lie to the public and the public accepts it. But what Meghan has done is to make the public no longer accept being lied to. It might seem like something insignificant and little, but it is not. Again, in that reading that I did a few days ago, it's not just about breathing out the fire, i.e. the gaslighting from the palace. It's also about people, how people will receive that fire. Are they going to fight back, or are they just going to swallow that fire and allow themselves to be burnt and to be gaslighted? Well, guess what? What Meghan has done is to prevent people, whether they want it or not, whether they like it or not, from accepting gaslighting and fiery behavior, which is what the fans of the Cambridges have been doing since yesterday's announcement, trying to force people and force feed fire into their bellies. Like, you will believe this, and how dare you? You're a horrible human being. These same people, the hypocrisy of it, would be saying to Meghan, you lied about your miscarriage. Like, tell me, what is the difference between having a miscarriage and cancer? Both could result, well, both could, but if I can say one is even worse, in the sense that a miscarriage is a certified death, the child has already gone. So you already know the ending, that there's been a loss. But cancer, someone can recover from it, right? But that loss that already exists, you have denied it in favor for now saying you have to respect what this person who hasn't, we haven't lost this person is still alive, and they're saying this. It might not end up in a death, but we would like you to treat this as if it was a death already. Because the rhetoric, pay attention to the energy behind the rhetoric. It's as if she's gone already. Like, there's all this flowery language, and all of that. They're doing it on purpose. It's not that she's gone. It's not even that she's about to go. From what I've seen, she's gonna get on the throne with William. At least that's what I've seen. I could be wrong, but I'm picking that up. She's not going to pass anytime soon. But why are they doing this? Because they want that energy of lethargy. Accept this. They want to force feed you with that fire from like the gaslighting, basically, and obviously people are like, you mustn't accept it, otherwise it's going to get worse. Whatever you accept today, it's going to get worse because, again, back to Megan, what Megan did, it's a cycle. What Megan did is she's made it acceptable for the royals to lie and for the public to not accept it. When she was criticized for announcing her pregnancy, right, at Eugenie's wedding, she doubled down. Eventually she decided to leave. It's like she never wanted to quite apologize. She would always come back in public with something even more aggravating. This is this announcement is basically it. And anyone who comes across this video, I cannot be silenced. That's number one. And I don't want you to tell me that how to tell me that I should take this announcement as something sacred. She's not my God. Nobody is my God. I'm going to question everything. Nothing is too sacred for me to not glance at, especially when my intelligence is being insulted, because it's not just royal family fans who are being insulted. When your intelligence is insulted, it's basically that person in the spiritual realm. What is happening is that person is trying, or those people are trying to uplift your reality, the reality that you know, and displace it and put their reality on top of yours. Because if you notice now, people are trying to backtrack, or some media are trying to pretend that we should backtrack. Erase your tweets, erase your comments, because this is a new reality. She's the victim, she's the victim. The palace did nothing wrong. It is all of you people. Not wanting people to remember the energy that was previous to the announcement. Energy is what creates reality. They don't want that reality of the Sussexes messed up. The royals try to cover up for them. Somewhere down the line, the Cambridges, who are supposed to be perfect, also messed up. They didn't keep up with the mood of the public. This went on for too long. Now we have to retaliate. Like, they want that. It's a Mandela effect. This is how Mandela effects are created. And unfortunately, social media exists, media exists, screenshots exist, the internet, unlike in historical times, the internet exists enough for people to have recordings of these things. So any Mandela effect that they try to create is going to be very, very difficult for them to dispose of other people's realities. So like that's why when I got the announcement, like I didn't even bother checking it out, because I just knew that this is the antics I was talking about in the reading I did yesterday. Like, she's telling you that she has cancer. Okay. Why then is all the cancer is one type of information? Why is this whole community of information being added and piled on? If you notice, now they're telling you that this is the reason why William could not attend the memorial. And if you remember, William was being criticized for that. So it's just to say that they use things just like Meghan and Harry, right? Have used things just like they were criticized before. They got criticized. Instead of apologizing, they doubled down and they decided to leave. In that reading that I did the other day, I did mention that the Cambridge is like, they don't want to apologize to the public. They don't. They are determined to not repeat the mistakes that the Queen did. Of If you go back and watch that reading, like, you hear the words that I use, like, the Queen was forced, like the public forced the Queen's hand. The public forced the Queen to let Harry and Meghan go. She wanted them to stay. She wanted them to be half in, half out. The public forced her hand because of the criticism. Now, the Cambridges have supposedly learned from that, and they do not want to repeat the same. Like, they don't want their hands to be forced. So instead, what they're going to do is force the public to apologize. These are mind games. And I for one, I'm not going to let my mind to be played with. So if any Cambridge, like anybody who comes across this video and tries to make me feel bad, I'm going to return your curses on you, because it's a curse. It is not to be taken lightly that someone is trying to mess up your reality. It doesn't add up. And I've said it, like, these are things that I was saying even a year ago, a year and a half ago, that Pay attention and do not let yourself be gaslighted. And even more importantly, in fact, you don't have to believe my words. Just to not allow anybody to prevent you from uh analyzing things. My readings, even I go back on my readings sometimes to see what I was saying and to see whether, like, why it doesn't match up to what I'm seeing in reality. What is going on? I need to understand because I want to have peace in my mind. What is going on? Why is this reading not adding up? Right? So I would never even tell you to not analyze. I'm not talking about trying to bully me or trying to attack me. No. Analyze my readings, have a critical eye if you must, and don't let me have a monopoly over what you consider to be the truth. So if I'm willing to say that, why is the royal family that is supported by the taxpayers not supposed to say that? Like, why should you feel guilty for not letting yourself be gaslighted? Right? Like, if this cancer announcement doesn't add up, that is because it does not add up. But they want you to add it up. They want you to put yourself in the equation, but not as the one who was wronged, but as the one who did the wrong. Yeah. Because how can you be wrong if the palace eventually apologized for the picture? That means you weren't wrong in the first place. That means those observations were actually not wrong. You were right. So why are they trying to sweep everything? They're trying to put everything in that basket, just like they did with Diana, which I've talked about in previous readings. Like things like death, illnesses, all of these things is what, I mean, not just the royals, but I guess like covens, right? And the royal family is a coven. They try to use in order to get people to look away. It's like, okay, look away now, look away now. This is too, it's too shameful for you to keep looking in. Stop talking about it. Look away, look away. Allow us to do this. And the moment that you look away, well, you're a goner because they're gonna so wash your mind, you're not even gonna know where you're spinning. Literally. You're gonna have screenshots, but you're gonna be so confused that it's not even gonna make sense. And the worst thing about it is what we're talking about is not just to do with the royal family, like it's to do with your own reality as well, because just like I've said it before, the sun never set on the British Empire. It never did. And what was the British Empire's aim? It was to conquer. So they are not satisfied with just having this truth about Kate. They want this truth to not just spread in other people's minds, but to like to change everything that people are thinking. In other words, even if your family member had cancer, they want your mind to elevate Kate's cancer situation more than your family members. Like that, and one that's what's happening. That's what's happened. And anyone who wants to feel that way is never going to be able to walk it back. What does it mean? It means that even if the royals decide to, let's say, decide to ask for your house, for your family house, in a few years' time, they say, we're gonna come through this town today. We want you to give us your house for a week or so. And oh, we're not gonna pay you because we don't deserve to pay you. We're royals. Give us your house. You're gonna give them your house. Like literally inside of your mind, you're gonna be thinking, why am I doing like why I'm a human being. Yes, they're royals, but I'm a human. Like, why am I allowing them to take my house? But you're not going to be able to help it. You're just going to say yes like a robot because prior to that, you swallowed what they had fed you in the years or the months or the weeks prior. Like, that is the game that they're playing. Just like the British Empire, the intention of the empire was to conquer physically. The physical realm is merely a reflection of the spiritual. So if the physical activity was to conquer, then well, what do you think the spiritual activity is? It is to conquer. So merely accepting, just accepting what they're giving to you is not enough. They're not going to stop there. It's going to continue. They're going to use this as a point of entry to grab everything that they can from your mind. Like it's not a game. People are thinking that it's a game and oh yeah, we were making memes and all of that. No, it's not a game. They're playing with you and they're playing with your mind. And most importantly, they're playing with your reality. Yeah. So no, William is never gonna bow. He will never bow. And again, this is what I was talking about before. Catherine knows that he's never gonna bow, which is why she is taking the brunt of it. Like Again, if things don't make sense, that's because they don't make sense. They don't add up. There's a reason why she's on the bench on her like by herself. And there's a reason why people have noticed that. Pay attention to what the spirit realm is opening up to you. Like if you're noticing that she's on the bench by herself, why is he not there with her? Do not allow the coven members, i.e. the fans, to tell you the contrary, like to tell you that it's her choice. How can it be a person, a woman's choice to sit there on her own and say, "Oh, I've got cancer"? Like it does. And some are saying, I've read some comments, like others are saying, well, William was taking care of the kids while she was doing the video. Like, really? Like, this is Meghan Markle levels of delusion. Like, you mean to tell me that with all the money they have, they couldn't spare an hour or two for the nanny to take care of the kids? Like, how much is a nanny for the royal? Like, how much is a nanny? Even the average couple could do it. In fact, they could have the kids in the room, no nanny, and simply do the video for like 5 minutes, and that's it. Like, like whose intelligence are you trying to insult? Who are you taking for a fool? And if people are taking you for a fool, that means they deem you a victim of foolish things. That means they're seeing you as a target to do foolish things to you. Like a power grab is not obvious at first instance. It always starts with little things like this, and this is what is happening. Like with the Cambridges, like the Sussexes have taken a step back with their antics, but it's now been ramped up with the Cambridges. As I've said before, we haven't seen anything yet. Like the circus is just about to start. Like this announcement is not even the beginning at all whatsoever. Like there's a lot more, because to them it is them versus the public. And going back to Kate and her being there on the bench by her, like like I said in that reading I did a couple of days ago, even the reason why this whole like circus with just her being missing, I explained that it was because of the staff issue that is about to blow. She knows that the staff issue is about to blow, so with everything that she can, she wants to protect William from being seen as the aggressor when the staff issue comes. When the finger is pointed at the next king, whose image thrives on perfection, she doesn't want him to be seen as anything less than perfection, like perfection defined. Even their fans, right? So she's willing to take on the burden. And this is what we're seeing, not just in her apologizing for the picture, when he could forget even him taking responsibility because she's got cancer, right? No, they could both have taken responsibility. What was wrong with him with putting out the statement and saying, Catherine and William apologize for doing this on the picture? What was wrong with, like, why not him include? That is because I talked about it in the previous readings. She wants to protect him. She wants to shield him. So even when people were asking, where is Catherine? She knew what was going on, but she was taking her distance from the public in order to get the spotlight on her. I guess like on her being a bad mother, and allowing him to get all the accolades that, oh, he's taking the children to school. I said these things in the previous reading, like he's taking the children to school, or, almost like as if he's a single father, so that he's gonna have a perfect image. So again, if you notice, she is the only one, like, on camera talking about the cancer. He isn't there. He isn't there because he's not there. Like what people have been speculating before, that they're now, I guess the Cambridges and the Cambridge fans are trying to make them feel guilty about. William isn't there. He hasn't been there for a while. Like they're not perfect in their marriage. Like they're no longer like, they're not like before. They've had schisms. They've got schisms. So that is what is also played to the point where he doesn't even want to be in the video with her. Like, I guess what I'm also trying to say, right, is that what Catherine started, that she thought she could control, is backfiring on her at the same time. Like in the reading I did the other day, the fire that she started, and also William has also in his own way tried to appropriate, it's now backfiring in that people are taking them seriously enough to say, wait, why is William not doing this for his wife? Meanwhile, his wife is keeping away in order to keep the spotlight on him and see him as a good dad. Meanwhile, the public is saying, wait, this dream you sold to us about being a perfect couple, why is he not here? Like, why are you not here with your wife? Like, we don't buy this. So they don't know the game that Catherine is playing, but they are not falling for it at the same time. So this is for people who might think that, oh, you're like, how are you saying that she's playing a game, but she's like, he's not with her, right? And you're saying that he's not with her and they're together. Like, no, it's not contradictory. What I'm saying is they started a game, this game, and they're no longer in control of it like they thought. Yeah. Because people are actually questioning and people are not going to stop questioning. So this is really like, this is a battle of egos. Um, when Megan was being criticized, right, what did she come back with? She did an interview in South Africa, and that interview was in essence to say back off. The same thing, back off, back off, back off. So if you were paying attention during Megan's time, you're gonna know, you're gonna see the signs with what I guess like the Cambridge are doing. Yeah, we're trying to manipulate public opinion. Okay, I'm trying to get to you guys' questions on the live. My device is frozen. Okay. Okay, let me go up to your questions. Any potential questions? So, okay, so Sophie is asking if William is to be the head of the Nexus, which is the royal family, then will the Nexus also become as deceptive as him? Yeah, but it's not so much deception, it's power. Power, yeah. So, power. Power. Yeah, and in turn, yeah. It's about power. It's about power. Not so much deception, but power. Um, okay, Sophie asked, can the Nexus protect itself? It can and it is. This is why, Sophie, things are actually backfiring on them because they're not protecting the Nexus. The Nexus is the crown. Like with William, you can't, William, if I was talking to him directly, William, you can't inherit a crown and then spit on it at the same time. Like, you can't inherit a crown, right? And then put your face to the crown, but turn your back as well to the people who are looking to you. Like, it doesn't make sense. So, in other words, don't think that you're not beholden to the public to some extent. That's the problem of William. At least the Queen understood it, that even if I'm going to abuse my power 90%, the 10% that is remaining, I'm going to give it to the public. I'm going to listen to them sometimes. It's just that she didn't anticipate just how voracious the public is when it comes to the truth. Like, we want to know the truth about Harry and Meghan. Tell us, tell us. So the public forced her hand. But in any case, at least she understood that. But for William, he doesn't. And his wife is aware, like his wife knows that. So which is why she's not beyond using even a miscarriage. And I see that coming. I don't know if it's her, maybe so, I don't know, her as part of a sympathy tactic. Nothing different from Meghan and Harry. Nothing different from Meghan. Nothing different from Meghan. Yeah. So William doesn't back down. He doesn't back down. So it means that he doesn't pay homage. The queen used to pay me even towards the end of her life. It was like 10% homage to what sustains the crown, the nexus. The queen used to do, but for William, it's zero. He doesn't want to hear it. He does not want to hear it. Like, in fact, if he is ever made to apologize, he's gonna make the public regret it, or rather, the public that supports him. He's gonna make them regret it. He's gonna make them work twice as hard to convince people and force down people's throats that we are going to install William there and you will listen to him as your future king. It might seem like something simple, but it's not, because it takes a lot of I guess energy, mentally especially, to make that leap from we're trying to convince you guys that William is the perfect king to so what if he's bad? You have to, and we're going to force you to accept him. It's a mental leap. It's not easy to jump from. It's not an easy leap to take. But that is what he will do. He will make his supporters do. if, I guess, in his words, in his mind, if they ever allow other people, the public, to question him uh, once again and force him to admit something that is truthful. Yeah. So yeah, the nexus is definitely protecting itself. It's backfiring on them. Yeah. Okay, so I'm seeing your next question about the queen. I think I've explained it. Yeah. Uh okay. Next question. Do you see from Downtown Abbey, do you see Catherine opting out of the firm? No, no, she's not opting out. She'll never leave. She'll never leave. Well, let me explain it like this. She'll never leave, but she won't be there. Almost like a pale figure of herself. Yeah. Will the royal family send him to Africa for rehab? Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. But I mean, what is Africa for rehab, right? Like it's nothing. If he couldn't get rehab where he is, I guess like in in America, then he wouldn't get it anywhere else. Sorry, my mind is kind of blank. I'm getting a lot of information that is coming through that the royals want to do. There's so many things that they want to do to the public. Um, yeah. Okay, so next question is King Charles really a Muslim? No, no, absolutely not. Well, I mean, okay, it's not based on what I think, right? It's what the cards say. Duplicitous or dual. It's like it's having a dual nationality. He's everything like a ball, like the earth, but also he's two. He doesn't see Islam as anything different than Catholicism. Yeah. So if you were to ask him, he would say he's not, i.e. it's like he exists in a ball, he exists in a circle of life, and he doesn't want to ascribe to him being a Muslim. Yeah. uh okay, yeah, 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 so I hope that's that answers you guys questions that you asked here. Let me try to get to the rest of these questions because I have to go. So yeah, the question was, will Harry ever remarry? Yeah, I've seen him remarrying Chelsea Davy. If so, will he marry another aristocrat? Yeah, yeah, Chelsea Davy, Chelsea Davy. The marriage isn't gonna be happy. They have reached their peak of happiness. Harry and Meghan. They've reached their peak of happiness. Okay, next question. Recently, Meghan's sister Samantha's lawsuit against Meghan was dismissed. What caused the lawsuit to get dismissed? What was said in the papers? Yeah. What was said in the Yeah, what was said in the papers? I mean, that's like there wasn't ground, just cause. Yeah. Um. Okay. Let me see. Will there ever be, next question, will there ever be any reconciliation with Meghan and her dad? No, 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 no. There'll never be reconciliation. Never, never. Um. Yeah, his health is very bad, but he does exaggerate it. It's not to say that there's not. I do see a death. I do see a death. I'll be doing readings more regularly, hopefully. Really, I hope so. Because whenever I get things that are quite vague, I hate it. I don't like it when vague things enter my mind. But at the same time, I can't help but talk about it just in case I have to reference it at some point in time, right? I see death. I see death. Yeah, I see there. I don't know if it's gonna be Thomas Markle, but it's like this tree, right? I would like to say, not because I wish it. I'm saying in order to be certain. I would like to be certain that it is one of the two, so that my mind can, so that I can rest with this energy. But it's either um uh Megan or Catherine. This is how they are. It's like a tree of death, but it's not really standing in its bright, its full light, but it exists within the realm of just like, I guess, this swamp. They don't know what they started. They don't know what they started with this um the stakes, with pushing the stakes. They don't know what they started. They don't know what they started pushing the stakes. Because okay, how do I put this without rambling? What Catherine wants, or she wanted, right, in painting William as the good father, the good husband, I am the problematic one, you guys pay attention to him, he's gonna lead you guys well, all of that. It's backfiring because it's basically like they're playing with the crown, because they're playing with people who are supporters of the crown, and who sustain the crown. Not only that, but like, because the spirit realm is awake, you can't ignore or avoid, even if you try to ignore, you can't avoid energies and intentionality, right? So even words like, if you remember, for the past, I guess, year or whatever, weeks, Meghan and Harry have been called cancerous. They are a cancer to the royal family. Now, I have seen, and I do see Charles' cancer is real. Catherine's isn't. But the thing, like, with them using that, they're killing several. Number, they're trying to silence Charles again. That's what they're trying to silence Charles by even using this. It's like, old guy, old puppy, you go over there. Our cancer announcement. Let's. It sounds ridiculous, but it's the truth. I'm not gonna stutter over it. Let's show you how it's done. We're gonna make this announcement, and we're gonna have the adoration of the public globally. Let's show you how it's done. It's not your paltry get well soon wishes that you had from, like, a part of the continent. We're going to show you how it's done. So it's killing two birds with, like, the power of the nexus of the royal family is such that when they do something, it reverberates. It's like, there's a difference between your parents, your mother dying, and the queen dying, right? To you, there's no difference. Well, okay, to you, it's your mother. It's much more. It's important. It's vital. It's your lifeblood. It's your lifeline. But how many people consider the queen their lifeblood? And, like, quite a few people, a lot more than you would actually realize. So the impact is much more, not only in terms of depth, in terms of width as well. Like, it's widespread, meaning that the impact isn't just physical, it's spiritual as well, a lot more. So guess what happens when they invoke the word cancer? They were not only did they, like, invoke the word cancer, but they're using it in a playful manner, in a joking manner, which means a lot more people are about to get cancer than we think. That's number one. Let me say this, even though it might sound really, like, silly, but they're gonna get cancer because they want to relate to Kate. People can will themselves into some kind of sickness. They can will themselves into it. Just like, when Megan talked about her miscarriage and stuff, like, a lot of people are saying, oh, I identify with that, or I connect with this, I connect with this. Well, be careful of words. I connect, and then you end up connecting into something that you didn't bargain for. And that's what is happening, or gonna happen to a lot of people. Some will go undetected, but a lot of people are cursing themselves right now, and that energy, like that cancerous energy, right? So, reporters were calling Harry and Meghan cancer, the cancer of the royal family, and now it's backfired. Not because Harry and Meghan are that strong. They're not. Actually, they're quite weak. And in fact, they are a Cancer in the sense that they refuse to let go of the titles, but they want also the perks, i.e., the accolades of having the titles and being seen as, king, sorry, prince and princess and all of that, right? So, in some respect, they're not wrong, but they are wrong in the sense that they are being hypocritical. And that's what I've said before. Again, I'm rambling, but it matters a lot to what is happening and what is going to keep happening with Kate and the royal family. Hypocrisy is what has gotten us here. It is not one side being right or one side being wrong. They are both equally right in their statements about each other. So, what is going to make one side, I guess, seemingly win? And I'm seeing the Sussexes win this war, is that the war of victimhood is that one side is less self righteous than the other. One side is less preachy than the other. Well, it just so happens is the Cambridges and the fans who are more preachy than the Sussexes. They say you do this, so they will call Harry and Meghan the cancers of the royal family. But imagine calling William and Kate the cancers of the okay, or William and Kate, they're not as bad as Harry and Meghan, blah blah. But according to who? If you say William and Kate are not as bad as, well, we've just seen that they might be just as bad because they've lied to the public about the picture and other, like they haven't been straightforward, just like Harry. So on what basis are you saying that they are better? Okay, maybe they haven't been lying to the public or playing these games for as long as Harry and Meghan. So are we judging it on time? Should we allow them 5 years to play with us before we can say that on this? Like, why should we give them 5 years when they have had more than 5 years advance? Harry and Meghan got married after the Cambridges. So the Cambridges should actually be wiser than Harry and Meghan. They've had several years of advance of an advantage in terms of time. So even though Harry, like, if you understand what I'm trying to, so it's like, what could they not know about how to behave with the public that Harry and Meghan would have known, who did not have that length of time? Like, Meghan didn't know what Catherine knows and what William knows about respecting or behaving with the public, right? So, in that sense, they're pretty much like on an equal footing in that, yes, the Cambridges may not have treated us in the same way for as long a time, but actually they had a longer time with us to develop an interpersonal relationship. So in fact, the betrayal should be greater. Because it's like, it's akin to your sibling betraying you compared to a friend you met just yesterday or last year. Like, it's not the same level, right? But people refuse to see it like that. But guess what's going to happen is that in time, this energy of betrayal and just like schisms between people, or I guess like the royals, it's gonna break off. This competition of who is the bigger victim, is it Harry and Meghan, is it the royals, the true royals? Like, it's gonna break, and the Sussexes are gonna be seen as the bigger victims simply because I do see death. But it's almost like what I'm getting here is that Catherine may want to use the same tactics that the Sussexes have used before, but it's going to backfire, and the Sussexes are going to look like the victims instead, which is actually what is happening, I guess, since yesterday is the template of what is going to be happening in the future to come. In that, yes, she's announced this the cancer, but her fans, and I said this before, the fans are the ones who are going to bring them down. Like, you're trying so hard to force people to worship your royalty. You are the ones who are going to bring it, because guess what, any kind of victimhood or any kind of power that believe us were the victims now, that William and especially Kate wanted to bring upon themselves, that victim, like the cloak, it is a real cloak. Like, spiritually, it's a cloak that prevents people from thinking properly and just blindly trusting. That cloak it's no longer a cloak, it's more like mud. That cloak is being washed away by the supporters of the Cambridges using Meghan as a reference point of what not to be. So it's like Kate is invoking death. Cancer is death, deadly. Kate is invoking death, but apparently it doesn't matter. It doesn't have the effect of her being seen as a righteous person. It doesn't. Because that's what she wanted, really. That, okay, I am righteous, and look, I am holding the hand of this heavenly being, this angelic being that is my husband, right? But it's not sounding like that. It's sounding very off. It's like a piano that hasn't been tuned, fine tuned. It's like something is off, something is off. In the absence of a middle ground, because when the spiritual room comes in, when the spiritual room opens up, what the spiritual room does, it prevents people from being neutral anymore. It prevents people from pretending. It prevents people from ignoring what the common sense and what the intuition has been telling them. It prevents people from trying to pretend that everything is normal and, oh, we don't really know what is going on. No, no, you know what is going on. Look, here are the facts. If you refuse to look at facts, we're telling you loud and clear that something isn't right. Things are not adding up. 1 plus 1 is 2. But you're feeling as if 1 plus 1 right now is adding up to 10. It's not adding up. Like, you've done maths before. It's basic maths. Your spirit, your senses are telling you that this is not right. Pay attention. That's what the spiritual realm does to people. It's basically saying you're no longer going to pretend that this makes sense in any kind of, so in the absence of having a place of refuge where you're going to pretend or say that things are not adding up, so I'm just going to see myself out, you're forced to pick a side. In picking it, like, and the side that people are going to pick the most is Harry and Meghan's side. So for people who might think that the more you double down and you tell people Catherine has cancer, like, what you're actually doing is you're causing them to dig in to not your side, but Harry and Meghan's side. That's essentially what's gonna happen. The announcement of the divorce that I talked about, that Meghan is, like, the divorce that she's gonna announce, it's not going to get people to transport over to like, it won't, because people now who are choosing or who have chosen to side with Harry and Meghan, they're not doing it out of the love for Meghan. They're not. They're doing it out of the hatred for the truth that has been presented to them in this kind of. Okay, in other words, forget what I've said about Kate not having cancer, right? From what I've seen in the cards. Even people who believe that she does, they don't want to be gaslighted into thinking that she is better than Meghan because she's got cancer. They feel it's icky, it's muddy, it's a mess. Don't use me to transport your agenda. I'm not a train. Like, you're not gonna ride me. And even the words I'm using, it sounds like rape. It's very rapey, and that is exactly what I guess the supporters of the Cambridges want to do. They want to rape your mind. Gaslighting is rape of the mind, of the human mind. That is what it is. It is saying, spread your mind, spread your legs. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna do whatever I want with you. You dare not raise your voice in objection. Yeah. So that is exactly, and people may not see it that way, but it doesn't matter. With the spiritual room opening up, they can feel that it is rape of the spirit. Like, I don't want to think like that. I don't want to think of Meghan Markle. I'm just giving my best wishes. Leave me alone. I'm not part of this war. I'm not part of this. I'm not part of this circle. But okay, since you give me no choice, well, I'm over here. And I'm going to defend this woman who, instead of focusing on this death situation with Catherine, you're using me to make Meghan feel like shit. And I don't want to do that. Unfortunately, well, fortunately, I guess for me or those who love the truth, the Cambridge supporters don't want to rest. They don't want to accept people who don't want to fight this war. They're pretty much like, oh, you're going to fight this war. And if you don't, it means that you don't love the Duchess of Cambridge, even though that's not what people are saying. Like, they're trying to force feed a certain narrative into people so that people are going to say, oh, well, you're right, you're right, you're right. Meghan is trash, Meghan is trash. And I'm not just talking out of my ass. Like, I'm getting this from the spiritual, but whatever I say, you're actually going to pick these signs. It's like signals. You're going to pick these signals. One of the signals is the fact that, despite the announcement and the fact that Catherine's own family has, forget the fact that I've said she doesn't have cancer. Forget that. Imagine, okay, she does, right? Where is her family? And why? Think logically, why is the media and the supporters in large part liking comments and saying and talking about the fact that Harry and Meghan have been at the root of this all? Even if they're not using such words, they're making it seem as if, okay, whatever Harry and Meghan do now, there's something to it. It's either a slight to Kate, on Kate, or something else. Like, why aren't you looking at her family members? Like, she's got a sister. She's not an only child. She's got a father. She's got a mother. Why, in the space of when she was in hospital to this announcement, have we not seen her family members coming out in support of her? Right? Like, why have they not said? I mean, the way that they're making it, it's such a grave thing. Like, it's so bad and earth shattering. Why then? Why then, when people were speculating, did they not come out and say, listen, something more grave is going on? Give us privacy. I mean, like, would you not think that you might think to yourself, or you might try to argue, well, they didn't get the go ahead from the palace. Would you, as a normal human being, allow your family member to get speculated on, and even allow that family member to take the fall for a Photoshop picture? And bear in mind, this is not a simple thing. That picture was given a kill notice, and that kill notice is something, according to what they said, has only been ever given like to countries like North Korea. Imagine putting your sister's work on par with something that North Korea would produce. Like, if you really have a conscience and you're not dead inside, are you going to allow your sister to be going through a trauma, right? A traumatic event, because that's what cancer is, and to take the blame for that picture? You won't. Or at least you would beg for William to take the blame with her. Or you would just, I guess, plead for him to not even put out a notice. Or you would plead for him to put a notice and say, listen, guys, something more serious is going on, right? But it didn't. One family member, Pippa, she was on holiday. The other family member was promoting his book. Well, now, why are Harry and Meghan the only topic when it comes to insensitivity? That means that they are trying to, and that is going to continue in the future, they are trying to create a narrative whereby it is Harry and Meghan who decide how people feel about Catherine. And that is not how people, I guess, like normal human beings want to feel. They don't want to feel like they're being like a pack of herds, like, oh yeah, I'm thinking like this about Catherine because of Harry and Meghan. They don't want to feel that way. They want to feel that, no, I came up with this on my own. I'm not a fan of Meghan, but I'm thinking that this is sus. It's suspicious. Like, why are you thinking like this? Why don't you want to give us the full details? Like, okay, you've got cancer. What is it? Like, we know what cancer Charles has. Are you bigger than Charles? That you can't even tell us what kind of cancer it is. Like, and the fans might try to tell you, it doesn't matter. You don't need to you don't need to have more details. But the only reason we know Catherine and William is because they are part of the royal family. Let's put that in perspective. So why should we not, like, on what basis did Charles give us the details of his cancer? Of what kind of cancer? On what basis? Because he deems it fit for the public, at least, to have some kind of, I guess, reassurance that this is the type of cancer I have. Why can't Catherine and William do that? Are they too big for the public? Like, questions you've got to ask in order to not be a horrible human being. Don't let them gaslight you, but to have sense, for your mind and your spirit to be at peace. Because your spirit being uneasy about what is happening, you're not uneasy because you're a bad person, number one, or because you're just trying to find trouble. Your spirit is uneasy because whatever they're doing today is not, you shouldn't take it at face value. It's like oh, what's the word? Like a Trojan horse. Whatever they're producing in front of you, like now, it's a Trojan horse for what is coming in the future, which is taking your lands and your power. And definitely, I mean, without a doubt, your freedoms are going to be just a word. You think you don't have freedoms now, today? Think about when William comes on William is like Hitler. it might sound hyperbolic, it's not from what I have seen. And you're going to see that in the future, because one thing I can guarantee, this man does not want to be made to apologize ever. If he messes up, something else is going to come and cover up for him so that he looks picture perfect. He's never going to apologize in the sense of what people want him to do. He's never. He's a Hitler. He's a he's a commanding figure that sees people as beneath him. Yeah, like, and it's increasing. I can say it with confidence and with all certainty. I would bet my life on it. He's going to get worse, and it's going to become a lot more obvious. So, like, anything that you try to see past, don't allow the fans to gaslight you, because the fans are aware. It's a coven, it's witchcraft. The fans know what is ahead. So your spirit being uneasy, it's not because you're trying to find trouble, or no, it's because your spirit is aware that that is a Trojan horse. It is aware that there's something that is on the horizon. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I can tell that this is something that should not be taken lightly. So what do I do about it? Yeah. So what should you do about it? Don't panic, I guess, and don't take things at face value. Like, you don't even have to get on social media and question it. Just be. As you're observing, keep observing. Don't allow people to convince you or to tell you through any kind of means, through bullying, through the media, um, through whatever it might be, through a song. You know, you might see a musician say, I'm dedicating this song to Kate Middleton, right? Don't allow that to sway you from thinking critically. Like, so what if he's dedicating it? Okay, he's dedicating a song, good for her, and I want her to be good. But I'm not gonna allow this, almost like this figure of speech, to make me feel like I am horrible if I'm not throwing myself overboard to make her feel like she's the most adored person in the world. Like, no, I can send her my good wishes and not feel the need to worship what she's going through. There's a difference. Don't allow the fans make you feel like there's no difference and it's one and the same thing. There's a difference. There's a marked difference between wishing somebody well, which is a lot more than they've done, to the woman they said faked a miscarriage, Megan, right? So that hypocrisy is what is going to cause a lot more things to come out about the Sussexes, because I've talked about the Cambridges, but the Sussex as well, and the rest of the royal family. Yeah. So, but, and in a nutshell, things are going to continue. Like, the organized chaos, like I was saying the other day, is just going to continue, and nothing much. Like, if you're wondering, where am I going with this reading? Like, what is the end goal? There's never going to be an end goal. Just like with the situation with Harry and Meghan, right? When it started way back in 2018, it was always that energy I was picking up, almost like the circus is continuing. There's got to be an end. Well, there's no more going to be an end. There's always going to be a circus surrounding the royal family. So, to what end? To no end. Well, William and Kate would like to think that there is an end to this. The end being people prostrating, spiritually prostrating, and therefore buying everything hook, line, and sinker. And then Harry and Meghan, by consequence, seeing that everyone has bowed, also bow in return. But it's never going to happen that way. The resistance is strong. So they're never, in fact, speaking of spiritual, like the spiritual realm, right? Even if people decide to bow, which they're never going to do, they're always going to be reminded about resistance, because simply because on the other side of the Atlantic, there's elections coming up. And the word resistance, the resistance has been at play. So words are spiritual. They're never going to feel like bowing completely. Yeah. So meaning that William is never going to get his wish of people bowing completely. 100, like, which is what he wants. He's never going to get that wish. So it's pretty much like, again, trains colliding. He's never going to get that wish, which means he's going to keep looking for it and going after it. And people are never going to let themselves be gaslighted totally. Yeah. So just imagine that kind of I guess situation. There's never an end. There's never an end. It's It's a schism. It's a schism. Yeah. That never it never locks in. There's never an understanding. There's always a yeah, but yeah, but it never makes it never comes back to what the royal family used to be. Yeah, before the queen passed away. Yeah. Uh I'm getting tired, so I think I'm gonna stop here. But um I will continue in another reading, simply because I feel as though I have to keep doing these doing readings on the royals in order to keep my eye on them so that they don't gaslight me. Yeah. I'm saying that for myself because that's just what I feel for me. Um but any questions that you have or that you've had, like, do send them. Do send them. Yeah. And any changes, I will let you know. I mean, any changes that get announced from the royals or anybody or anything else. Okay, Steph K asked, how is the death of Thomas Kingston connected to Kate? It's not. It's not connected. Yeah. It's not connected. It's not connected to Kate, the Thomas Kingston. It's not. Okay. Yeah. Um, all right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm exhausted actually. I'll see you guys in the next reading. So just any questions that you have, do send them in. And it doesn't matter if, my reading contradicts what you've seen in the newspapers. Even today, even as I shut off this reading, and anything that you see in the papers that contradicts what I said, it's completely fine. I don't mind and I don't care. Examine it. Go back on my readings, watch them, listen, examine, put them side by side, and listen to your own instincts, which they don't have to, your instincts do not have to align with mine or with what I'm picking up in the readings. That's fine. Your reality is your reality. It just needs to make sense to you and for you to be okay so that you don't get in the future, you don't get swept up. Because I don't have any intentions in the future for other people. Like, I'm living my life is enough for me to handle. I don't have any intentions, or I guess, like, to deal with other people in the future, right? And you don't have to believe it, obviously, but I'm just saying that it's okay. It's important for you to be at ease in your mind each step of the gaslighting that is happening around you and around us, so that you don't get swept up, because William definitely has plans for you. Every individual, he's got plans for you. So it might sound hyperbolic, but it's not. You might believe it or not, but from what I've seen, that he has plans. He has plans. So at least for you to stay grounded, pay attention to what you're seeing. Yeah. And what you're saying and what, I guess, like, is going on, even in your head. Yeah. Put things in perspective. Put everything in perspective. Yeah. Okay.